Hi Edison, how are you? Edwin, how are you?
Hello, teacher. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hi Alice, how are you? And we're gonna wait 5 minutes or four minutes, and then we start. Hi Edison, how are you?
Hi, teacher. Fine.
Nice. Guys, we're gonna start, okay? I'm gonna share you my screen. Okay, so today, first of all, thank you for coming and for your attendance. I hope you had a nice holidays. And yeah, today we're gonna talk about debating. Okay, this is gonna be. And before we start, I would like to ask you to choose between two options that I'm gonna give you, and then you need to choose, and then you tell me why you chose it, or why you like it the most, or why you prefer what you chose. So, for example, if I tell you, I don't know, let's see, hot weather or cold weather, and you need to choose a one, like, I don't know, hot weather, and you tell me one reason. And so hot weather because I don't like cold at all. I make more activities when it's hot, or I don't know. Just tell me the reasons why you chose it. You could use expressions like I prefer, and then you explain me why. Okay. So, Edison, coffee or tea?
I prefer tea. Well, I don't really like none of those, but I prefer tea over coffee because I don't know. I think it's the flavor is better. I don't really like coffee that much.
Nice. It's not a nice way of thinking. I also, well, sometimes I drink tea, but I like how it tastes coffee. But I think I drink the most tea, to be honest. Alex, books or movies? Alex, I don't hear you. Maybe you have problems with your microphone? Alex? Wait, let me see if you wrote some. Alex, I don't hear you at all. Check your microphone, please, because the class for today, it's kind of most of the participation is only speaking. So if you don't have, if you can't participate, then I can't count count your participation. I can, unless if you write, maybe you can write if you want, so I know you are there in class. Okay, so if you are there, then tell me either if you like more books or if you prefer movies. Okay, because I don't hear you. Edison, no, Edison already. Edwin, do you prefer online or in-person classes? Edwin?
Hey, teacher, es que mi internet estaba molestando. So I prefer in-person classes because being physical present in a classroom made it easier to focus. So you can read the instructor body language, ask a spontaneous question, and interact more naturally with classmates.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Yeah, I also agree. Yeah, they have both have pros and cons, huh? Mm. Alex says, I prefer books because these have many options and styles. Okay, that's also a good idea. Thank you, Alex. So, mm, so what is a debate for you? Is it a fight? Is it a discussion? Um, and Alex, test on the chat, please. What is a debate for you? Okay, what is a debate for you? Edison, what do you think makes a good argument?
I think could be demonstrating your argument via I don't know scientific studios or what is it called thesis and like official fuentes oficiales pues.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
think I think that and well the structure too because you can say something about a thesis, but if you don't say it right, well, it's gonna be wrong.
mm-hmm. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah, usually you can use in a debate, as you say, official sources, or if you read a book, you can also mention the book, or if you don't have any proofs, you can also use examples, for example. Yes, I don't know. You can use something that proves your argument. And thank you, Eddie. Edwin, who you think wins a debate? What do you think about it?
Teacher, so a debate is a formal discussion where people express different opinions about a specific topic. It isn't a fight, but a respectful exchange of ideas. In a debate, there are usually two sides, one for the topic, so the affirmative side, and one against, so the negative side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is also true. And Alex says it's a discussion employing reference and ideas, help with official sources. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Alright, this. So, yeah, so as you guys say, to sum up with all your ideas, it's a discussion, okay? It could be in groups or it could be in pairs, okay? And you discuss opposing viewpoints on a specific topic. And as Edwin said before, there is like a positive side. It could be like this side that supports the idea, that is the proposition. Okay, and then we have this negative side, that is that the person or the group that argues against it, that is the opposition. And yeah, in English, for example, well, the idea for today is that we develop speaking skills and or persuasive communication, and that you express a good argument, like yes, you say an opinion, you say something that you think about it, but why? The idea is that you think why I think that, or why I chose that, or why is it my opinion, like a little bit more I like a big explanation, kind of like a big explanation in short words. Of course, we're not gonna do it so long. And before we before I show you like some debate expressions, I want to show you first a debate structure. So you remember, we first have an introduction. Yes, we present the topic, in my opinion or from my point of view, something like this. You start the topic. Then you have it comes the arguments, okay? Where what Edison said before, something to support your position. It could be a book, or it could be something you read, an author, or it could be examples. Okay, if you don't have anything, you can say examples from a daily life or an experience you had or something like this. So we have opening here is like in between this introduction and arguments. This is like the opening statements, okay, from both sides, from the negative side and from the positive. Okay, then we have the rebuttals. Okay, this is to respond to the other side. So you express your opinion, even if you are, if you agreed, you can say you agreed, but the idea is that you say why, and a a sentence would be like this, where you disagree. Okay, so I agree because of that, but I also think that it could be different, or like the opposite. This is the idea. To express both sides, both sides, sorry. And then we have at the end conclusion. Yes, each of you just summarize your ideas, and then you close. Okay, this is the debate structure. So now we have the expressions that you can use today. Of course, you can use any expressions that you already know. Like, I think this is like the most common one. But the idea is that you also use different expressions today, okay? So to start, or to give your opinion, this we find phrases like, in my opinion, I believe that, from my point of view, as far as I'm concerned, okay? And then for the rebuttal, we have agreeing politely, or disagreeing politely. Okay, we always gonna use a polite language and clear, yes, because debates they need to be respectful. Okay, we're gonna share our opinions, but we need to be respectful to each other, and yeah. So for agreeing politely, we have, I agree with your point because That's a good point. You're right. I hadn't thought about it. I completely agree with that idea. Okay. And for disagreeing, you have expressions like, I see your point, but I disagree because that may be true, but I'm not sure I agree with that. Or on the other hand, okay. And then we have adding or supporting ideas. Here we can use the connectors that we saw in last classes. They to add something, so additionally, moreover, another reason is that, let me add something to that. The more reasons you have or the more arguments you have, the better you do a persuasion. Okay. The better usually in a debate there are persons who kind of vote for what they see is the most like, or like the better idea, let's say it like this. Of course we're not going to do this in our debate today, because the idea is that we express our English and that we practice our English, sorry. And also, in the idea of the debate, I think is that we all win. We all win because we all learn from each other. There are so many kind of ways that people could express their opinions and in their thinking. We all think different, and so we all learn from each other. So this is, I think, the most important, to learn from each other and to practice our English. But yeah, so it's good that you always have at least two reasons, like two ideas. So you can use another reason is that, like expressions like this. Now, if you want to challenge an idea, or if you want to rebuttal, the idea is that you make a question, if you want, to the other person. And if you don't want to make a question, then you need to say why you don't agree. Okay. So questions like, what evidence supports that claim? Or how can you be sure of that? Have you thought about this? Or another example you can give. Or that argument doesn't consider, I don't agree because with this idea, because it, or something else, like you give your reason. And then at the end, we have expressions we need to conclude. It's important. Make a conclusion is just to sum up everything, put all your ideas together in other words. Okay. You use another word, another phrase, I don't know. Just say the same that you said before, but differently, and then you conclude. Or if you also agree with your partner at the end, then you also can say, I think this, but I also agree that. And yeah, but for that you need to to use an expression so people know you are concluding, of course. So you can use to sum up, in conclusion, or that's what I support, or overall, I believe that. Yeah, but important that you use this expression so people know in which point are you. Okay, where are you? What are you talking about? Yeah, that's it. Do you have any question? ¿Tienen preguntas?
No, teacher.
Okay. So now we are going to practice. Okay. For this activity, I'm gonna give you a statement, and then you need to justify your opinion. Okay. Use formal phrases. Okay. So you need to tell me if you agree or if you disagree. we're gonna do, I think we can do 2 rounds. So maybe I will use another other phrases, also other statements I'm gonna use besides these ones. Okay, because we have time and you guys are only 3 persons. So we're gonna start, Alex, because you don't, also your microphone doesn't work. You can write down your opinion if you agree or if you disagree about money can buy happiness. Okay, so you tell me on the chat, uh, money can buy happiness. You agree or you disagree? Why? Why? Okay, you need to just please. Thank you. Meanwhile, Edison, what do you think? School about this? School uniforms should be mandatory.
I kind of disagree, mainly because uniforms, well, are mandatory right now for make the students look formal and like tell teach them discipline, but I don't think it should be strictly mandatory. Um, because I don't know, sometimes the uniforms are uncomfortable or the people. I mean, the school requires you to go in uniform even when you don't have one or it's damaged. So, and it's like if it's your fault, you have to do something. The school don't understand your problems and that. So I think it shouldn't be mandatory. Instead, they could use a dress code, like you can go to school however you want, but don't put this clothes on. I don't know, show clothes or revealing or something like that. And for identification, if that's what they want to do, well, they could make it like in the universities, a carnet, and everyone who goes through, well, shows the carnet, and then he can enter to the school. But I don't think the school uniform should be mandatory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those it's like a balance. No so strict, but also not so informal, or I don't know how we can say it, but I know I get your point. It's also, I agree with you. Nice, thank you, Edison, for your nice opinion. Edwin, social media causes more harm than good. What do you think?
Teacher, so I stand in favor for this topic. So there is no debut that social media has become a big part of our life. But the question is, what cause? So first, let's talk about mental health. Students have shown that spending too much time on social media. Second, the social media is a space where cyberbullying and the net. Social media is a platform where misinformation, o sea, desinformación es misinformation, is
Mm-hmm.
friend weekly. And finally, the social media is highly addictive. So many people spend hours scrolling without in realizing.
Mm-hmm. So okay, you finished. Yeah. the this is a topic that is really important, I think, nowadays. Um, yeah, I think it depends on how you use it, huh? But yeah, really good points, Edwin. Thank you. Let's see what Alice wrote. So I disagree because getting money, you can have all the things except happiness, as for example, the time of a person. Yeah, it was, yeah, yeah, the time of a person. Yeah, this is also important, you know. There are things like to spend time with your family that are more value than just money. Yeah, nice. We're gonna do another round, okay? And this round, Alex, you're gonna tell me uh, your opinion about this. Homework should be banned, okay? Do you agree or disagree? Homework should be banned. And meanwhile, Edison, the other statement I have for you is um, school should start later in the morning. What do you think?
Okay, kind of like what they want to do now, right? I think it should start late, yes. Because when I was in school, a lot of students had to wake up earlier than the average student, and when they went to the school, they were very sleepy. They were tired. A lot of them slept on the desks and they couldn't learn and the school was like you have to get to bed earlier but without that homework that they left how could someone go to bed earlier and so yes I agree that schools should start later in the morning like 7 or 8 because well a lot of students had another things to do or other ones are live very far and they have to get up earlier than the rest of us, like at 3 or 4 in the morning, and can get well rested. So, yeah, I think it would be a good idea that the schools start later in the morning.
Yes, I also agree. Thank you, Edison. Yes, I also agree. There are many countries now that were, at least for the little ones, um, school starts not so early. I think around 10 or 11. I think it's good. Thank you, Edison. Edwin, for you to, I have everyone should become vegetarian. What do you think? Do you agree or do you disagree? Edwin, did you hear me?
Yes, teacher. So everyone should be become vegetariano. And
Yes,
so
vegetarian.
I support the idea that everyone should become vegetarian. So for all health, the animals and our planet first. Let's talk about health. And vegetarian diet is rich in nutrients and help prevents the essence like heart problems, high blood pressure, and diabetes. So the second, every year a billion of animals and killing for food. So many live in poor condition on factory farms. So the next going vegetarian is good for the environment. So the meat industry use ton of water and pollute the air and destroys forests for grazing land. So 18 plants instead of animals can help fight climate change and save natural resource.
Thank you, Eddie. I think this is a hard question. I don't know if I could answer. Uh, if you ask me, I would be half half. You know, there are people who it's healthier, of course, if you don't eat much meat and so. Also, you have what you say, the animals, pollution, and so on. But I would think everyone should just eat less meat, no necessarily zero, but to eat, consciously. You know? Yeah, because of course there are people who needs uh, mm, the nutrients to get for the meat, and you know, and or there are people who from countries that they they don't have access to be 100% vegetarian. They need mm, a meat and so on. But thank you guys, really good, really good. This is good because you learn from everyone. I like debating. And let's say what Alex wrote, and then we continue with our next activity. Um, so about band takes I disagree because if you don't practice the knowledge, I'll forget it. So Alex needs homework to remember. Yeah, this is also a good um, how you say this way to see homework. Maybe not so much homework, but is from time to time it's good. Mm, Guys, so now we're gonna do an activity where we need to build an argument together. Okay, so um, we have this statement: online learning is better than traditional classes because then you give me an argument and reason. Okay, you give me a reason, and then when you need to pay attention, because if each of you gonna give me a conclusion, okay? Uh, so first you give me a reason, and then after we heard all the arguments, all the reasons, then we make a conclusion, okay? So, Alex, you can write on the chat meanwhile your reason, okay, why online learning is better than traditional classes. And meanwhile, Edison, could you please tell me what you think?
Okay, online learning rather than traditional classes because it's more flexible and the necessities of the student because well in yeah in comparison to school once you are in college you have to pay your matricula, you have to uh, get a good equipment to study, you have to get a job, do some other things, and maybe if you had a hobby in the school, well, you're gonna practice it more. So I think online learning it's better because it's more flexible. The necessity of each person and it has the like the same quality of the traditional classes with some difference about how they work, but I think they are they are better for the flexibility. Furthermore, they are almost equal, traditional and online, but the flexibility is like the strongest part of the online.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good point. So we have flexibility from Edison side. Edwin, what do you think?
Teacher, online learning is better than traditional classes because it offers more flexibility and accessibility and personalized learning. So flexibility is one of the biggest advantage. Students can learn on their own space and choose the time that works best for them. The second is only learning increase access to education, so people from rural areas or different countries can attend course from top universities without having to move or travel. So the treat is allows for more personalized learning, so a student can watch, record, listen again if they didn't understand something. They can use online tools and resources to focus on their weak areas and move faster through topic they already know. In conclusion, online learning is better than traditional classes because it gives a student more control and over their time, breaks down barriers to education and allows for a learning style that fits individuals' needs.
Mm-hmm. Really good, Edwin. I think you gave us more than one reason. This is nice. Um, Thank you. And now let's see what Alex said. Online learning is better than traditional classes because you have always the content and you can stop and you won't lose information. Oh, this is also a good point. You can always have like a track of your learning, like right on your hand. This is a good point. Now, I want to hear. Now you have heard your classmates, so I want to hear one conclusion from you. Okay, a conclusion in general. Um, so Alex, could you please write a conclusion on what you heard from your classmates? Edison, could you please tell me what conclusion you have?
Well, in conclusion, for this argument, online classes are better than traditional because they offer more flexibility to the students, more accessibility, and they have they give you any resource that you need and any information that you need to learn instead of putting them on different classes along the semester like traditional classes.
Yeah, nice. Thank you, Edison. Edwin, do you have a short conclusion?
And teachers, so in conclusion, to sum up, Online learning offers a modern, flexible, and efficient way to gain knowledge. It adapts to different lifestyles, help reach more people, and use technology to make learning easier and more interactive.
Nice, thank you, Edwin. And Alex, so a conclusion about this topic is that online learning have more advantage than fail. Yes, but why? Okay, next time, you can say a conclusion, but you need to point out a, to, to say a little bit more. Always think about why, okay? When you say, when you are doing an argument or explaining something, always think about why. Why? Because. It's always because. Because here you're saying have more advantages than fails. Why do you think it has more advantages than fails? Okay. Eh, I say it because when you have, for example, a test in an English test, for example, or a score, people they're gonna see how much can you express in the language, how much can you tell. So best way is always thinking why I think I like that, why, because, and then you explain. Uh, and also you of course you sound better in English. Um, so because this way bring flexibility and you stop and restart later. Yes, you can always restart. Really nice. Thank you, Alex. So guys, good. Now we're gonna do, when we debate, or when we debate, it's important to know the difference between a fact or an opinion. Okay, so you know that a fact can be something that is proven. Okay, even if it's true or if it's false, it's proven. So everyone can agree on this, even if they don't like it. Okay? And you have, of course, evidence, or you have data, or you have a previous observation. So a fact. This is a fact. And an opinion, of course, you know that is something that you use it to express your belief, your feelings, your personal judgment. So it was basically something that can't be proven if it's right or wrong. Okay, we cannot prove, and people can disagree about it. In a fact, you cannot disagree. Okay, because it is what it is. Let's say it like this: it's something that has evidence. Okay, so even if you disagree, it's proven. It's proven, and everyone can agree on this. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you some facts, no facts, some statements, and then you're gonna tell me if you think it's a fact or if it's an opinion. Okay. So for Alex, you're gonna write down fact or you're gonna write down opinion. Okay. You got number 1, 4, 7, and 10. Okay, Alex? So water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Is it a fact or an opinion for you, Alex? What do you think? Edison, Saturdays are the best day of the week. Is it a fact or an opinion?
That's an opinion, teacher.
It's clear, I think. Or why would you say it's an opinion?
because there's nothing that can prove that Saturdays are the best day of the week. I think Fridays are better, but that doesn't mean it's a fact.
Mm-hmm, exactly. Thank you, Edison. Edwin, most people use smartphones daily. Do you think it's a fact or do you think it's an opinion?
Teacher, fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, um, why do you think it's a fact?
Because this is supporting by data showing with its friend smartphone used globally and large majority of people in many countries rely on smartphone for communication, social media,
Mm-hmm.
browsing or work and other daily activities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is correct. So, yeah, it could be it could be a fact or it could be an opinion. But in this case, it's a fact, right? Because as you say, you can, if we would use statistics, we could prove this, there is like a like you can prove that most people use smartphones daily. And if you say, for example, I think people use smartphones these days. Most people use smartphones these days. And if you say, I think, it sounds more like an opinion. Yeah, because we don't have proof, you just thought about it. And then mm, with source, this would be a fact. So it's correct. Thank you. And what Alex said for water boils at 100 degrees. It's a fact. Fact. Um, Now, Alex, chocolate ice cream tastes better than vanilla. Is it a fact or is it an opinion? Edison, the Amazon is the largest rainforest in the world.
It's a fact.
That is correct. This is a fact. Edwin, school should start at 10 a.m. instead of 7 a.m.
Is our opinion.
This is an opinion. Why you think it's an opinion?
So many students and experts support the idea that later school start times, especially for teenage, can improve overall health, focus, and performance.
hmm Yeah, that's true. Yes, an opinion. So because it's evaporation point. Yeah, the first one, this is true. It's a fact. But what do you think, Alice? Chocolate ice cream tastes better than vanilla. Do you think it's an opinion or is it a fact? Edison, the Eiffel Tower is located in Paris.
That's another fact, teacher.
Why?
Well, it's a Parisian. Paris is the singer of France.
Okay, good. Thank you. There are some things that are obvious, but I ask you about why because I want that you practice your English and tell me a reason. Good. Edwin. Reading is more enjoyable than watching TV. Edwin?
Teacher, can
About
you
the Mhm. Reading is more enjoyable than watching TV.
Is opinion.
Why?
So, because this is subjective and depends on personal preference.
Yeah, that is a clear explanation. It's subjective, right? No, everyone likes always reading. What Alex said about ice cream, that is an opinion because some people prefer a sweeter flavor, sweeter flavors. Yeah, that's also cool. And now, Alex, there are 365 days in a year. Do you think it's a fact or do you think it's an opinion? And Edison, teenagers spend too much time on social media.
Okay, I think that it's a little bit of both. I mean, nothing can, and not any studio can guarantee that all the teenagers in the world spend too much time in social media, but the average teenager does. So I don't know.
Mhm. It's a tricky one. But yeah, you're right. It could be both, because if we show this idea could be supported by statistics. No, if you can prove that this is true somehow. Um, but it could also be an opinion. In case I will say more because of this, here in this too much in this word, it sounds subjective. Um, it depends on what you personally think is too much as well, because for you might be fine, for someone else no. So I think it's also subjective.
Yeah, I think it's if the sentence was like almost all the teenagers spend too much time on social media. I could think it could be a fact, but in that way,
Mhm.
I don't think so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it depends on how it's written or how you tell the thing. Thank you, Elisa. Yeah, there are some tricky ones. And this exercise also helps you as well when if you have a reading test. Also, sometimes comes questions like about it, like if you do you think it's a fact or an opinion, things like this. So it also helps you to practice. Alex say it's a fact because the air need all this time complete its spin around the sun. Yeah, it's written, it's proven, right? It's something that is proven, so it's a fact. Guys, good, really good. Mm, Now that we just did some small practice, it comes the real debate. Okay, we're gonna do a debate. Mm, so, because you guys are three persons, we're gonna choose only one topic. Um, mm, you're gonna choose, okay, if you want to be for or against. But I need one person at least to be against, okay, or one person at least to be for, okay. So the topic's gonna be um, hmm, which one do you want? Social media does more harm than good, or school uniforms should be mandatory? Which one you guys want?
I prefer the social media one, teacher.
Okay, Edwin, social media or school uniforms?
The second one.
School uniform. And Alex, you need to choose, and what you choose, then we do. Please write down social media. Okay. So we're gonna do social media. Okay. I hate this thing always. Okay. So what we're gonna do? This is the structure. Okay. I need people. So Edwin, do you want to be for or against? So you are for social media does more harm than good, or are you against? What do you want?
Against.
Okay, you are against. And Edison, do you prefer to be against or for?
Think against too.
Against. Okay. So Alex, Alex, you're gonna be for, okay? So you're gonna social media does more harm than good, so you're gonna be for, okay? Vas a estar a favor. Y Edison y Edwin van a estar en contra. What we're gonna do now? So first we need to do an introduction, okay? So Alex, you can start writing and thinking because I think you're gonna take the most because you are writing. So it's more like you need more time. Write an introduction why you are for for social media does more harm than good. Okay, why you are? So you're gonna say, I am in favor of this topic because, and then you say one or two reasons. Okay, your arguments. Okay. Mm, you can use one reason is that, another reason is that, the other. Okay. Then when you finish, mm, you will do the rebuttal. So we're gonna read your introduction, your arguments, and then Edison and Edwin are gonna do the rebuttal. So Edison is gonna start saying why you are against, okay? And Edison, because it's two persons, so it's not so, how you say, messy, no es tan desorganizado. Entonces, Edison, you're gonna say a reason to why you are against. And Edwin, you're gonna read what Alex just wrote, right? Okay, what Alex writes, and you're gonna do an argument if about it. So you're gonna do a rebuttal. So you need to say, some people think, or let's say this, but I believe this, the opposite. Okay, if possible, the opposite. Remember, and then, or you can use that argument ignores the fact that, or and I don't agree with Alex, or I agree with Alex, but I also think, and then you say the opposite. Okay. So Edison says two reasons against, and then Edwin is gonna do like the rebuttal part. Okay. And then when we finish, when Edison finish, uh, it comes a conclusion. So Alex make a conclusion. You can also do a rebuttal. Okay, Alex, in this conclusion, you can also say I agree or disagree with the other side, and then you make a conclusion, and then Edwin and Edison make a conclusion. So Edison make his own conclusion, and Edwin make his own conclusion. Is it clear, or should I explain in Spanish?
For me, it's a clear picture.
Anyways, we do it step by step, and of course, we take our time and till we finish. But yeah, so now first of all, we're gonna wait that Alex finish his position, as states his position, introduction, and once he finishes, then Edison continues, and then Edwin makes review. Okay, Alex needs that I explain in Spanish. Alex, escribe por favor tu razón o razones por qué estás a favor de la social media hace más daño que bien, ¿sí? Tienes que estar a favor. Entonces, estoy a favor de este tema porque una o dos razones. ¿Ok? Finish. Then it's done. ¿Ok? Y ya vamos paso por paso y te voy explicando, porque después de eso Edison va a dar sus razones y Edwin va a hacer sus razones también en cuanto a lo que tú escribiste. Él va a leer, vamos a leer lo que tú escribes y Edison pues tiene que decir no concuerdo o concuerdo y así. Y por último, vamos a hacer una conclusión. Entonces, cuando ya acabemos eso, entonces tú vuelves a escribir y dices, concuerdo con mis compañeros o desacuerdo con mis compañeros por esto y esto. Y conclusión, esto, y ya. Y cada uno luego hace sus conclusiones. Entonces empieza a escribir, porfi, porque estás a favor del tema. Acuérdense, en el tema es social media does more harm than good. Lo va a escribir en el chat, bueno. Y dejo la estructura. Y ustedes también pueden ir pensando en lo que van a decir. En 5 minutos empezamos, bueno. Okay, I think we're ready. Alex, so guys, please everyone read, pay attention what Alex says. It says, I consider that social media brings more harm than good because according to girls and lack of restrictions, anyone can do whatever they want. What do you mean by that? I don't understand. I mean, yeah, I understand it's good, but what do you mean with anyone can do whatever they want? Meanwhile, could you please tell me your reasons, your arguments?
No teacher, sorry, I didn't hear.
Edison?
Yes, teacher, sorry, I didn't hear you. I have to begin with my arguments.
Yes, please. So social media does more harm than good. You are against that? Why?
Okay, I'm against that statement because, yes, it can happen a lot of things in social media. There can be bad things, but they can be good things too. For example, there have been a few cases of people have created communities to help other people. And for example, there is one guy from a country, from Colombia, is going to cities and to local businesses, little business to uh, support them by purchasing a lot of products and paying them more money that the product costs. We also uh, we also gives the commercials like some products to help them like I don't know, like the materials that they need to make the product and the las joyas, pues, or materials like that. And with the support of his community and a lot of people that see him regularly, he can do it and he can support a lot of people. He buys the food not for himself, but for people from the street, homeless people, poor people. So I think social media can do things too.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good point.
And another
Thank you, Edison.
argument. It wasn't two arguments, or was it just one?
No, it's okay. It's just
Oh,
one and it's good.
okay,
Like
teacher.
one well supported is enough. It's good. Thank you, Denise. Aliens do whatever they want as like telling that's true. So, Alex, you're gonna tell me why you think social media does more harm than good. So, because here when we read, um, we don't see it so clear what you want to mean, you know? Remember, you need to be, you can give your opinion, but you need to give us examples, okay? So we understand and some you have your, how you say this, a reason, like you explain why, but you have a reason why. Explicas el por qué, ¿sí? Y dar como un ejemplo, por lo menos, de, de por qué social media hace más daño que bien. Entonces, en español, ¿por qué social media hace más daño que bien? Entonces, una razón solamente te puedes basar en una razón. Una razón puede ser que no sé, me lo estoy inventando ahorita, que los estudiantes jóvenes o los adolescentes no se logran concentrar en sus estudios y obtienen malas calificaciones. Puede ser una razón, ¿sí? Porque, por ejemplo, no sé, tengo una sobrina, puedes dar un ejemplo de vida personal o algo así, ¿sí? Importante que expliques tu razón. O puedes decir, no, hay estudios que ya han dicho que a los adolescentes, ¿sí me entiendes? Pero importante, una razón clara, ¿me entiendes? Porque aquí me estás diciendo, si yo leo en español, mira, dice, porque cualquier persona puede hacer lo que ellos quieran, como mentir, ¿sí? Que es verdad, algo así, ¿sí? Pero necesito, digamos, necesito que tu idea me des como un ejemplo o una razón, ¿sí me entiendes? Si no me entiendes, me dice y escribo el ejemplo, ¿sí? Mm, okay, social media does more harm than good, eh, porque ellos pueden hacer lo que quieren y decir que no es verdad. Sí, como por ejemplo asesinatos, bueno. Okay, I think I get your point. Um, mm, do you have another reason? ¿Puedes decir otra razón? Okay, they could be scams for different people in organizations. Yeah, I think you kind of want to say that it might be also people tend to be out of control or like they don't know how to use social media, right? Mm, and this can cause bad consequences, right? So it it could be that you need some kind of restrictions, right? This is what you wanted. Like there is a lack of restrictions in social media. And I also agree because of that, social, for example, in Facebook, you see many things like videos that are really, like they show you violence and stuff like this. And yeah, I know, I get your point. Thank you, Alex. So now from that, Edwin, that we just discussed with Alex, what do you think? Also, because you are against, would you make respond to your classmate, please?
Teacher, some people think that social media does more harm than good because of use like addiction, misinformation, and privacy concerns. But I believe that this concern overlook the significant benefits that social media provides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, mm,
Yes, continue.
Iba a continuar y como que me detuve. So, for instance, while some argue that social media full mental health problems, it can also be a valuable source or support online comunidades, communities
Communities?
offer offer people the chance to connect with others facing similar challenges, share
Mhm.
experience, and access mental health resources.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Edwin. Yeah, I think depends on how to use it, right? Mm, thank you. So, guys, really good. Now that you got all your ideas together, and please make a conclusion. Okay? So, Edwin, please, after hearing you listening to your classmates, please make a conclusion the about everything that we just discussed, okay? And what you think and so on. Please write it down so I read it at the end. Edison, what can you conclude?
I think that in conclusion, social media is more than an instrument for other things that people can do, and it just depends on how people use it, and can be it can be used to do good things or bad things. But I had in my own experience and well of things that I can see, social media does more good than harm. Social media has been a way that people can be connected to, like like with friends, familiars, and other
Mhm.
people. Create community, support people. So I think even if can do harm, it does more good than harm.
Mhm. Okay, that's really also a good conclusion, and it's also good that you state your opinion. Mm, thank you, Edison. Well done. Edwin, please, what can you conclude?
Teacher, in conclusion, while social media certainly has its drawback, I believe that its positive impact, such as forensic connection and education and social change, for outweigh the negative effects.
Mhm. Thank you, Edwin. Yeah, those are really good. Important thing is that you make a brief summarize, and then if you want to state your point, you keep your point of view as it was. Ale, could you please write your conclusion? Meanwhile, while we wait for Alex, um, it comes now. There is this. I'm gonna send you a link. We're almost done, okay? But I'm gonna send you a link, and we can send it on the chat. It's a Padlet on the chat, okay? And you please write down one useful phrase that you use or learn, then one thing you like or found difficult, and then one way to improve your debating skills or advice. Okay, advice. I recommend to do this. It helps me to I don't know, an advice for everyone to improve your debating skills. Okay, you can write it down now if you want. In Alex, you can also start writing that, but send me please. Okay, your conclusion is here. It says, in conclusion, if you constantly employ the virtual tools, you must be more attentive or whatever that you want to show to all the world. That's also a really nice conclusion. Thank you, Alex. So now you can continue and write on the Padlet. Okay? Then I wait that you guys finish. Yes, Alex, you you raised your hand. What happened? Alex, porfi, ve al link que acabé de mandar y escribe en el link, en el Padlet, las respuestas a estas tres cosas que están acá. Por ejemplo, one useful phrase you use or learn, una frase que aprendiste o que usaste en el debate. Luego, one thing you liked or found difficult, algo que te gustó o algo que encontraste difícil. Y one way to improve your debating skills, como un consejo para mejorar el tuyo o que te sirve a ti o para tus compañeros, sobre cómo mejorar eh, tus habilidades de debate, por favor. So, Edwin, could you please read your answers?
Okay, teacher. So, the first, so one useful phrase I use or learn. So, some people think about I live. This helped me introduce my opinion clearly while as no lady the other side of the argument. The second one is one thing I like or found difficult. I like expressing my ideas with strong points, but I found it difficult to stay calm and organized when responding to opposing views. The last one is one way to improve your debating skills. So a great way to improve is by practicing regularly with different topics. This build confidence, help you think quickly, and teach you how to structure arguments and rebuttal more effectively.
Tributos more effective. Thank you, Edwin. Yeah, that's true. To practice is the best way to do this better. Thank you, Edwin. Edison,
Pleasure.
could you please read your answer?
Yes, teacher. Well, the first one, my useful phrase that I used was, I think the school uniform shouldn't be mandatory because they're usually uncomfortable and shouldn't have some problems with the acquisition. Well, the most useful parts were the parts like I think because like the structure of argumenting my opinion and okay, one thing I like or found difficult, I think I like when we tell if a statement was a fact or an opinion. I think that was a very useful one for the dividing topic because sometimes people don't get that some things aren't good with arguments because they're not something that can support. They are just opinions, and opinions are
Mm-hmm.
diverse. And the last one way to improve my the skills, I think that the best way is by talking about different topics with other people, discussing our opinions, and supporting them with good arguments. I'm more of a practice learning. I learn more with doing it than like reading the theory. So I think that's the best way to improve my skills.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's good. Thank you, Edison, for sharing your thoughts. And yeah, that is important to know. And to add about that, it's good about to discuss about different topics. Also because you learn from other people. Um, you need to be open-minded, and it's in you cannot agree with something, but you can listen and learn from that person, and so you have, other you get other ideas. I would say it like this. Mm, nice, thank you, Edison. Alex, Alex can read. So, okay, he says a useful phrase that I use was in my opinion. Okay, good. Uh, Something that likes a lot was the possibility to express that what I thought. For other parts, that I don't like me was the topics. Okay, something that I didn't like. Okay, was the topics. Uh, and a source to improve this new knowledge would be to feel better than now and stop to feel. Okay. Um, the best way for this is, as everyone said, is to practice. Okay, for everyone. It's really sad that you couldn't talk today, Alex, so you could speak, you practice your speaking skills because that was the main point. But I am happy that you participate today as well, even if you couldn't. Try to find a way to get a new microphone, okay? Because the last two classes are only speaking, okay? I don't. Maybe there is a writing activity one, but no more, okay? It's gonna be only speaking, and all the activities that I created are to speak. And if you cannot participate, it would be a shame, if you miss it. Of course, if you come to class, I would count your participation, but it would not be good for you also for your English. Okay. Now, guys, before we finish, I would like to know I would like that you answer this for me. So, if you had to debate in front of 1,000 people tomorrow, what topic would you choose and why? Okay, Alex, could you please write on the chat the answer to this? Si pudieras debatir en frente de un público de 1,000 personas mañana, ¿qué tema escogerías? ¿De qué debaterías y por qué? What topic would you choose and why? So, Edison, could you please tell me which topic would you choose?
Okay, I will choose a topic that I'm experienced of, like a game or a series that I like, because I think that I would have very good arguments about any type of questions that I get, or if it's a
Mm-hmm.
debate about if like I like it or not. Well, I would obviously support it, but I would have very strong arguments to support it because it is they are like my my favorite thing. So I think that.
Yeah, yes, the best topic is always the something that or that you like to talk about, right? Thank you, Edison. What about Edwin?
Teacher, I would choose the topic. So school should focus more on life skill than standardized testing. So because it's a topic that affects almost everyone, students, teachers, and parents, and it opens the door to meaningful conversation about what education should really prepare you for. I believe life skills like communication, critical thinking, financial literacy, and emotional intelligence are essential for success in the real world.
Mm-hmm, that's true. I think that's really, really important about what you just said, there are people who graduate and they don't know how to save money, or there are people who don't know how to buy a car, for example, or things that are essential in your daily life, and that you don't, like, you miss it. You don't know how to do something just because, you know, it's okay to learn 1 + 1, for example, but you know, what can you do with that is the important thing, because I think it's a really big topic. It's important, really nice. Chose chosen topic for you, Edwin, from you, and I really I don't know why my computer today. Because I have so many windows open. Um, Alex, Alex, what about you? Which topic would you choose to talk about in a debate? ¿Qué topics, qué tema, qué tema escogerías para hablar en un debate, Alex? So I would choose about the city structures and public transport, as people that depends of a wheelchair, like more or like me, are forgotten. Really important topic as well. And yes, nowadays, you know, we have now technology and everything, and you know, we should use more the technology we have for things like this. I think that's also important. Thank you, Alex, mm, for your opinion, guys. That was it. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for your attendance. I hope you have a nice day. And we are almost finished. Like with the classes, we only have Thursday and next Tuesday. Okay, 2 classes. So please participate for your points. You know, and yeah, we are almost over. So I see you on Thursday. Okay, don't forget. And yeah, thank you and have a nice day.
Have a nice day too, teacher. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, teacher. See you.
Bye. Thank you, Edwin. Bye, Alex. Have a good day.